Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second big alternative coverage live, which is the big game, Saudi Arabia against Mexico in Group C. I'm your alternative commentator, Nicholas Jones, and you are listening to the Commentary Hub. We'll also be having reports from the other match in Group C. Poland against Argentina and our reporter for that one is Luke Turton. We'll throw over to him in a moment or two. But first, let's now take a look at the background between Saudi Arabia and Mexico. Despite losing 2-0 to Poland, they can still turn things around. They can still turn things around with a win, although I have been reliably informed that Saudi Arabia can only win if that they can do this one if they beat Argentina, but if they have three or more clear goals in order to beat Argentina into that second position. A draw would be enough as well, but only if Argentina beat Poland by 3 goals or more. But that doesn't inspire confidence, having only won 4 in their last 19. And Coach Hervé Renard has made 3 changes because Al-Bri and Al-Marki have been replaced because Al-Brik and because Al-Brik is injured, and also replaced are Sami Al-Neji, and also suspended is Abdullah Al-Malki. The lineups for Saudi Arabia: in goal, number 21, Mohamed Al-Owais, number 4, Abdullah Al-Amari, number 5, Ali Al-Bulayi, number 17, Hassan Al-Tambakti, number 2, Sultan Al-Hanam, number 12, Saud Abdul Hamid, number 15, Ali Al-Hassan, number 23, Mohamed Kano, number 9, Faras Al-Brikan, number 10, Salem Al-Dorsari, number 11, Saleh Al-Sheri. For Mexico, however, they are yet to score a goal at the World Cup this year, and their performance has been nothing short of abysmal. Having lost 2-0 against Argentina, they also lost their opening match to Poland as well. Andres Guardado sustained a muscle problem in the last match against Argentina, and does not start and does not start for the team. So we'll go through the team in just a moment or two. And on the subs bench, Raul Jimenez, he is expected to make his 100th cap for the national team, so he could feature later. So he could feature later on in the game. As for their qualification prospects, Mexico's chances appear to be slimmer. They'll need to beat Saudi Arabia by 4 or more to qualify, and they'll also need 5 if Argentina beat Poland. So you could say that everything is all to play for tonight. Now onto the lineup. In goal is number 13, Guillermo Ochoa. Number 3, Cesar Montes. Number 15, Hector Moreno. Number 19, Jorge Sanchez. Number 23, Jesus Gallardo. Number 4, Edson Alvarez. Number 17, Orbelin Pineda. Number 24, Luis Chavez. Number 10, Alexis Vega. Number 10, Henry Martin. Number 22, Herving Lozano. And we can now fetch in our reporter for Poland against Argentina for the latest team news, and also both their prospects. Luke Turton. Good evening, Luke. What's the latest news between Poland and Argentina?
Yes, so if we start with the oh god, I'll just disconnect my mic. Let me start that again. I disconnected my mic. So if we start with Poland, they have Szczesny in goal, the back four of Mati Cash, Kamil Glik, Kwior, and Berezinski. Then in midfield, they've got Bielik and Krychowiak. Then further forward, it's Zelensky, Srividevsky, and Frankowski. And up front, it's Lewandowski. I think Poland have the best chance of qualifying tonight because they're on 4 points already. So if they win, they'll qualify. As for Argentina, they've got Emiliano Martinez in goal, Molina, Romero, Nicolas Otamendi, and Acuna across the back. In midfield, we've got Alexis McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul, and Enzio Fernandez. And further forward, there is Julian Alvarez, Angel Di Maria, either side of Lionel Messi. As for Argentina's chances, Nick, if they win, they'll go on to 6 points, and it'll make Saudi Arabia's chances harder. So if anybody wins in this game, I think they'll qualify. For the other team, it could be a bit of a nervous wait to see what happens in your game.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could well be. Yes, it could well be. So, so aside from Lionel Messi, who do you think will stand out for Argentina?
I'm drawn to either Enzio Fernandez or Alexis McAllister because I think them coming in from deep will probably cause the Polish side a few problems. Di Maria's not really been onto form recently, and it's the first real game that Julian Alvarez has started for Argentina in this World Cup. So I'm just looking further back into midfield tonight.
Okay, and who do you think will be the standout player for Poland if they can find form against Argentina?
Again, I think you look to Zelensky, Lewandowski, and I'd also have a little bit of a hunch for Mati Cash. I mean, bit of a left field selection for Poland recently is Mati Cash, but we all know he can do surging runs into the box and hit some very good shots. So it wouldn't put it past him to have an impact on this game as well.
So what you're saying is that both sides they're going out to win, and in the case of Saudi Arabia and Mexico, it's more of a case of luck rather than anything that'll get either one of them into the round of 16.
Yeah, I think that both sides will be going out to win because they've both not got really comfortable totals in the group already. I mean, Poland have got 4 points. They're probably the most comfortable. But Argentina are tied with Saudi Arabia on 3 points. Only goal difference separates them both. So I think Argentina will definitely want to go out and win this game. But I think Poland will also want to not lose the game, but also go out and try and win it as well so they're more comfortable in case there's a swing of 3 points for Saudi Arabia and 3 points for Argentina, because then that would put Poland out of the qualification altogether.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Luke Turton. We'll hear from him with updates. We'll hear from him for updates throughout the tournament. And we've also got Ross Vernon coming in. Some breaking news regarding England as it happens.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the coverage this afternoon. But some breaking news from the Three Lions, and England have announced that defender Ben White has left the England's World Cup training camp and is not expected to return to the squad for the remainder of the tournament. England have released a statement on their website saying Ben White has left England training base in Al Waqar and returned home for personal reasons. The Arsenal defender is now expected to return to the squad for the remainder of the tournament. We ask that the players' privacy is respected at this moment in time. So whatever personal problems that Ben White is having, we at the Commentary Hub would like to wish him all the very best. So all the best wishes to Ben White, who has left England's training camp and returned home for personal reasons. Hopefully everything works out for Ben White and for England.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that little tidbit of news, Russ. But whilst it's still on here, how do you see Group C being resolved?
Well, for me, Nicholas, when I was looking at the groups earlier, I think, and I was speaking a little bit earlier as well off air to a few people. I think Saudi Arabia could get through. I think they've shocked Argentina already. I think they could prove another shock tonight against Mexico. I think in their game, and I think Poland may get through. So for me, I think it's with Poland to get through as group winners, and I think Saudi Arabia will surprise a few people and get through as runners-up in the group. And for people listening, to let people know on who the two sides will face if they come first and second in the groups after Group D was finalised earlier. The winners of Group C will play Australia on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. UK time, and you'll be able to coverage of that one here on the Commentary Hub. And if whoever wins the group will face Australia on the Saturday at 7. You better that commentary on the channel with this weekend, and whoever comes second will face France, and you'll be able to do that on Sunday at 3 o'clock on the channel before England against Senegal. Netherlands USA is at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and all the round of 16 games you'll be able to hear live and live remote alternative commentary here on the Commentary Hub with our brilliant team of commentators and reporters.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Russ Vernon, and the teams are now at the foot of the tunnel. Lionel Messi is the captain of Argentina. Actually, no. It's in fact the match between Argentina Poland. I'm going to have to. Got it. Just got it. I just got it slightly wrong, folks. Everything is okay now. I think I selected the wrong channel for my monitor, but we're all ready to go for Saudi Arabia again. But we're all ready to go for Saudi Arabia against Mexico. The captains will be leading their teams out as per tradition. So, but before we go into it. I'll have a look at the table. Poland top the group with 4 points. Argentina and Saudi Arabia equal on 3, although Argentina are ahead by superior goal difference. Mexico round the bottom with just 1 point. So they have got it all to do. But as we know in football, nothing is impossible. And both sets of players now are gathering around the centre of the pitch, which is the game is at the Lusail iconic stadium, which, as we know, will be the venue for the World Cup final on the 18th of December. So the players now gathering around. So the players have now made it onto the centre of the pitch, and we get ready to pause now for the national anthems. And I feel certain that the first national anthem will be the national anthem of Saudi Arabia. Both national anthems sung with great gusto by both players, fans, and management alike. Even the Saudi Arabian national anthem was belted out by the players and the fans. The players now going through the customary handshake procedure, and I think some of the Mexican players giving the Saudi Arabians a few high fives. We'll let you know who who lines up where shortly. In fact, we're going to do that right now with Saudi Arabia. It's Alawi in goal, and then Alari, Abulai, and Altanbati in the back three. Then in midfield, it's Alhanan, Kano. But before we go through now we're going to look at them in more. We're now going to look at them in more detail. So it's Alawais in goal, then Almari, Abulai, and Altanbati the back three. Sultan, Kano, Al Hassan, and Saud in midfield, and at the front three includes Abrikan, Al Dasari, and Al Shairi. Saudi Arabia, I can see her wearing all white with white socks. Mexico wearing all green. And our referee tonight is Michael Oliver, who many of you will recognise as one of the many referees in the Premier League. Stuart Burt and Simon Bennett are his assistant referees. Istvan Kovacs of Romania is the fourth official, and the fifth official is Vasily Marianescu. And the captain's now doing the traditional toss of the coin to see who is going to play first. We will find out. We'll find out shortly. The captain's now going through the handshakes with the match officials. On VAR, we have Massimiliano Irati of Italy, and his assistants are Paolo Valeri and Alessandro Galantini. For Mexico, it's Ochoa in goal. And they are playing a 4-1-2-3 formation with Gallardo, Moreno, Montes, and Sanchez, the back four. In midfield is Chavez, Alvarez, and Pineda, and the three forwards, Vega, Martin, and Lozano. I can actually reveal that Alvarez is flanking. Is flanking Gallardo and Pineda. So Mexico and Saudi Arabia are getting into a huddle to obviously go through like a final strategy to discuss what they're going to use, and it'll be and it will remain and it's certainly going to be interesting to see which of these sides. It's going to be interesting to see if any of these sides will have more goals than Argentina and Poland. So we're now waiting for the game to kick off, and I've just been informed that Poland against Argentina has already kicked off. We'll have more of it. We'll have more reports as and when we get them. So Mexico, it looks like it'll be Mexico to kick us off, and we're underway for the match between Saudi Arabia and Mexico, and it looks like Mexico have first use of the ball, straight to Ochoa in goal. Now the ball is with Moreno, back towards Ochoa. Now the ball being passed up front to I think that's Montes. Montes back to Moreno. So Moreno now passing down to Alvarez, and a cross by Alvarez, but cleared away though by Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia now they want to put on the attack, and Salem Al-Dosari fouled by what looks to be Jorge Sanchez. Sanchez tried to hold on to the ball, I think, but I think Al-Dosari got in the way, and Al-Dosari almost on the verge of being tackled again, but a throw-in quickly taken by Saudi Arabia. It's now with Martin and Mexico. Looks like they were, and Mexico looked like they had the early attack though, and that was just a shot that just missed, and that was by Chavez, and that was by Luis Chavez. So Chavez sends the ball wide, and Luke Turton, what's the latest action between Poland and Argentina? How's it all kicked off?
Well, Argentina had an early corner, which went straight back out to the edge of the box to Messi, put the ball back into the box, and Otamendi just went up for a header, but nothing really happened. It's just been mainly Argentina attacking, but no real clear-cut chances as of yet, Nicholas. So Poland 0, Argentina 0.
Thank you, Luke. Saudi Arabia appear to have found more verve. It looks like they're on the attack right now, and a long-range shot saved by Ochoa, and the ball was well received. I couldn't see who tried to attack. It might have been Al-Sheri, but easily defended by Ochoa. Mexico now back in possession with the ball. That was with Edson Alvarez, and Alvarez has managed to cross up front to Alexis Vega, but deflected away by the Saudi defense, and it's Saudi Arabia back with the ball. And Saudi Arabia playing that one really well through Al-Sheri, but a foul on, I think that was Mohamed Kano. Yes, indeed, it was Mohamed Kano. Mohamed Kano was the man who came really close to scoring against Poland at the weekend, but he subsequently went to ground, and that has now given Saudi Arabia a free kick, and but that free kick was easily picked up by Ochoa. Mexico now back in possession with the ball. This is Moreno passing back down to Ochoa in goal. Now it's been passed up front to Alvarez, back towards Moreno. And Moreno now crossing again to Vega, but well defended by Abdullah Al-Amari of Saudi Arabia. And as we approach the 4-minute mark, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and Mexico are looking to change all that. Right at this present moment in time, it's Montes now with the ball, and Montes now passing up front to, I think that was Sanchez, but the ball was cleared away by Saudi Arabia, and that will be a throw. And I think Abulayi had the last touch of the ball, and that's considered a throw in to Mexico. Moreno now back with the ball, and a cross by Moreno to I think that was Herving Lozano. It was, Salem Al-Dosari, I think has I think was brought down by Lozano. Indeed, he was, and his face in pain. Hervé Renard, the Saudi coach, looks on, and his face somewhat impassive. But this is bad. But this could be bad news for Saudi Arabia. One of their star players, Al-Dosari, is down, and it looks like he could be substituted early on. Doing a bit of warm-up exercises, Hatan Babri and Al-Dosari I think was unlucky to be caught by Erving Lozano. He's still on the ground. The referee comes over to have a look, as do the Saudi physios. I would not be surprised if there is an extended period of stoppage time towards the end of the first half, and this is not what Hervé Renard needs right now. He already had to make 4 changes, and he doesn't need to make another one so early on. And Al-Dosari, he's now sitting up. He was lying down for a few minutes, but he has been brought back up by the physios. He's hobbling around on the pitch. That must have been a nasty knock he's received. I couldn't see where they collided with him, but Saudi Arabia now have to press on. Mexico still have control of the ball. The ball is now still with I think that was Alvarez, and Alvarez now trying to pass up to Sanchez, but it's gone back to Alvarez, I think. Now the ball is with Luis Chavez, and Chavez crossing down the wing to Jesus Gallardo. And Gallardo almost finds an opportunity, but the ball is now with Vega, and he's sandwiched between the Saudi defenders, and the referee saying, "Steady on, boys, let's have none of this." And that was a good cross in by Gallardo. He was setting up Vega, but I think the referee... but I think what got the referee's attention was somehow Alouais actually bundled down. It wasn't Vega. It was Henry Martin. So Martin was Martin was fouled, and also it looked to me as though Altan Bakhti was involved, but nobody is booked. So fair enough. And to Saudi Arabia now pressing on with the ball, and that looks like it's going to be set up, and it's been sent forward too. I think that was Cano, but Cano missed that, and Cano did well to receive the ball, but that was a good block by Jesus Gallardo, and Mexico now have control of the ball again. 8 minutes gone. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0. And Jorge Sanchez has been flagged up for offside. He was at least the length of about 3 or 4 people ahead. So the referee quite right to give the offside decision in my view. Saudi Arabia now look to try and make another attempt, and that was Al-Hanam with the ball, but easily defended by Mexico. The ball now being passed back to Saudi Arabia, and the referee blowing his whistle, and that is because Gerardo Martino allegedly wants to have a word, and Martino backs away. So throw in to Saudi Arabia. And it will be and I think it's Altan Bakhti with the throw, or was it? No, it wasn't. It was Al-Hanam, and Al-Hanam now trying to cross foot, now trying to pass it around between the players, but it's almost caught by Mexico, and Saudi Arabia almost take it through Abdullahi, and again good defending by Mexico. So Mexico now have the ball back, and the ball is now with Hector Moreno, and Moreno trying to pass to Sanchez, but picked up very well by Saudi Arabia. That was by Al Hassan, and foul this time on Mexico, but the referee's saying play on. It's Jorge Sanchez trying to cross forward to Helving Lozano, but remarkably, the ball still remains in play and goes out for a throw. That was a missed opportunity again by Mexico, but now let's check in with Luke Tyson for if there have been any more developments on Poland v Mexico. Luke, what's been happening? I mean, Argentina.
Not a great deal. I mean, Messi just had a shot just down towards Szczesny's left that went out for a corner, which is the first very big clear chance, but again, didn't really trouble Szczesny too much. But apart from that, it's mainly just been balls around the middle of the park. It's not really been that great so far, but we'll see how it goes. So it's still Poland 0, Argentina 0.
Back now to the main game, and it's Moreno for Mexico. He's passed around to, I think that was Martin, and Martin has crossed forward to Jesus Gallardo, but Gallardo must have been tackled by somebody in the Saudi Arabian defense. I couldn't see who it was. It might have been Al-Bulayi, and Cano now coming over to us to have a quick word with Hervé Renard, and Cano I think has been told to put himself more in attack, and the ball is now being passed around. I think the person who had the last touch of the ball was Abdullahi, and Saudi Arabia now on the attack, but foul just outside the 18-yard box, and it's a free kick and it'll be a free kick to Saudi Arabia, and it was Saud Abdul Hamid who had the touch of the ball, but brought down just before he was about to set up a shot by Chavez. So the first real opportunity at goal for Saudi Arabia. A free kick to them. Could they possibly convert this one into a goal? Don't forget, should they win by at least three or more goals, they will be going through to the round of 16, and it will be Salim Al Dosari who will be taking the free kick. We're just over 12 and a half minutes in now as we prepare for the Saudi Arabia free kick. Salim Al Dosari takes a few steps back. The referee makes sure that everyone is in position and is organised. He's not happy with one or two things, and it's a shot from Saudi Arabia, but it's just over the bar, and that was by Cano, and Mohamed Cano. I think Mohamed Cano, that was a bit too powerful from him. Had he reduced the power a bit and sort of aimed a bit lower, that could well have been the first goal of the match for Saudi Arabia. But as it stands, it still remains goalless. It's Moreno now for Mexico, and he's now passed up the wing to allegedly Montez. Montez back to I think that's Alvarez, or was it? No, it wasn't. It was Montez to Moreno, and Moreno now crossing to Gallardo. They've been doing a lot of that in this game, have Mexico, but Saudi Arabia is still there in defense. But Saudi Arabia is still there defending really well. Montez to Edson Alvarez. Alvarez now passing the ball around. Edson Alvarez now going down to cross down to, I think that was Martin, but Martin clipped by Al Owais. We're now going to take a look in more detail what happens. Good setup by Mexico to send the ball to Martin, but well dealt with well by Al Owais. It's Saudi Arabia now back with the ball. That looked to me as though it was Mohamed Cano, but Cano was Cano was easily dispossessed, and now the ball is back with Mexico. It's Montes now, and he's now crossing forward to what looks to be Erving Lozano. Lozano has to defend from Altan Bakhti, and Altan Bakhti has tackled the ball for Saudi Arabia. But is he offside? He's offside, or was that because another Saudi player has gone down? That's surely got to be the latter. And straight into the book goes Edson Alvarez. I think Edson Alvarez is going to get a yellow card, and I think he's mouthed off a bit at the referee. But a yellow card is a yellow card, and I think that challenge on Altan Bakhti was just deliberate. He just came across at him from the other direction, and that is now and as a result, he goes straight into the book. So to me, that's a cross between clumsy and deliberate. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments, please. And it looks like a couple of other Saudi players that are going to get ready to come on from the suspects, as it's Abdullah Hamid has gone down, and that is surely got to be another blow to Hervé Renard's men. And this does not look good. And this was as a result of the foul committed by Edson Alvarez, and the Saudi fans looking understandably concerned. And Hervé Renard trying to give his side of the story to the officials, or was he having a bit of a chat with one of his players? I think it was the latter. But excruciating pain for Abdul Al Hamid. I think he might have had his foot trodden on or something. But as far as I'm aware, he is still on the pitch, and play will resume shortly. Michael Oliver appears to be taking no prisoners so far tonight, and it will be a long-range free kick to Saudi Arabia. Cleared forward though by Mohammed Al Awais, almost picked up by Saudi Arabia. In fact, they have picked it up right now, and it was Al Sheri with the ball, and it was almost passed to Al Dosari, but tackled by Mexico, and Mexico now have the ball through Moreno, and Moreno now passing back down to Ochoa in goal, and Ochoa now crossing it to that was a long-range shot to Sanchez, and Mexico understandably have had the more possession of the ball. Saudi Arabia have started to pick up the pace in the last couple of minutes or so, but at this moment in time, I'd say it's all Mexico, as Alvarez now passes to Moreno. Moreno now passing back to Ochoa in goal. Ochoa now to Montes. Montes passes back to Ochoa. Ochoa now passes forward to Hector Moreno, and Moreno now trying to cross forward to Vega, but Vega was too far behind, and that was well defended by Saudi Arabia. That looked like it was Al Hanan that defended the ball, but Saudi Arabia now crossing down to Al Hanan, so it must have been Al Bulayi, and it's given a throw to Mexico to be taken by Gallardo. Gallardo to Moreno. Moreno now to Montes, and as we approach the 90th, and as we're almost approaching the 19th minute, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and the ball now ends up back with Ochoa in the Mexico goal. And as things stand right now, Argentina and Poland will make the round of 16. The ball is now with Edson Alvarez. Alvarez now to Montes, and Montes now crossing the ball forward to Gallardo. Gallardo tried to pass to, I think that was Pineda, but nothing doing so far. Pineda to take the throw, or is it Gallardo? No, it's Gallardo. Gallardo throws to Moreno. 19 minutes in, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and Chavez passes to Edson Alvarez. And Alvarez, surely an opportunity, but Sanchez was too far behind. And that will all in all be a goal kick to Qatar, and Al Owais gets ready to take the goal kick for Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia make it through to the round of 16, it will be their first time there since 1994, when the World Cup was played in the USA. So ball cleared out of goal by Al Owais, but the ball now ends up with Saudi Arabia, and that was with Al Dosari, but Mexico do really well to sack that one. So I've just gone over the 20 or so. So just gone over the 20 and a half minute mark, and a throw by Sultan to I think that was Al Sheri. Now past Al Sheri tried to set up an opportunity, but it was saved by Mexico, and the ball is now with Edson Alvarez, and what's the latest between Poland and Argentina? Luke Turton.
Well, with a couple of chances from Acuna, one was shot over the bar, the other was a tame header on 17 minutes. There's also a ball that was played through in the direction of Julian Alvarez on 15 minutes, but I was way too far in front of him. He was never getting to it. Poland just had a corner, but again, defended very well by Argentina. No real signs of quality just as of yet, Nick. So it's still Poland 0, Argentina 0.
Thank you very much. Luke. As a throw-in is to be taken by Saudi Arabia, and it looks to me as though Alton Barty might have had the ball, or was it Abdullah Hamid? It was Abdullah Hamid, but he gives it back to Mexico, and Saudi Arabia have had a longer ball recovery time, 18 seconds compared to Mexico's 9, as Gallardo crossed the ball into the goal area, but it was but it went the wrong way, only to be picked up by Lozano, and Mexico still going for a chance, and almost headed by Martin, but defended by Saudi Arabia. And just as I say that, a long-range shot by Luis Chavez, but saved at the last possible moment by Al Owais. And Luis Chavez, how unlucky was he not to score that one? And the ball has now been cleared out, and the ball has now gone out of goal, but it was cleared down to Ochoa for Mexico. It's now Edson Alvarez, and Alvarez now crossing the ball again to Lozano. Now it goes back to Alois in goal, but he passes the ball out to Al Amari, and it's Al Amari crossing the ball now to Abrican. Abrican had the ball momentarily, but was easily pushed aside by Mexico. Now the ball has been passed around by Al Hanam to I think that's Cano, but Cano goes down thanks to Jesus Gallardo, and a throw-in is to be taken by Mexico. And that was, but I have to say that the Mexico throw-in was the wrong decision in my view, because that looked very painful on Cano's part. Now the ball is with Pineda. Pineda now passing it to I think that was Gallardo. Now it's back with Chavez. Now the ball has been picked up by, I think that was Pineda, but easily tackled by Saudi Arabia. Now Mexico have the ball back. This is Hector Moreno. Moreno now pass the ball around to I think that was Vega, and across by Vega now to that was Sanchez, but Saudi Arabia, I should say, easily able to defend that one. Not for long now, though. It's still back in the 18-yard box. Is this a shot on goal? Saved! by Al Owais, and that is the second shot, and that is the second real chance for Mexico, and that came off the foot of Pineda, but still nothing doing so far, and I think he was clipped and toppled over, but he appears to be all right and is still playing. It's the ball is now with Albrekan for Saudi Arabia. Now the ball has ended up back with Al Hanam to Al Hassam to Hassan Al Tambakti. Now the ball is found Abdullah Al Amari. Al Amari tries to cross to someone up front, but it was deflected away by Sanchez. And Sanchez, nice bit of the foot, nice footwork to deflect the Saudi danger away. 25.5 minutes in, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and the ball has now ended up with Irving Lozano. Across it. Lozano tries to find a gap, but couldn't, and as a result, the ball has now been sent out, and it'll be once again a Saudi Arabia throw-in. You would have expected at least one or two of them to be. You would have expected at least one of the teams in those games in these matches to have scored by now, but as I thought to you, it still remains 0-0 in both matches. As Vega now passes to Chavez. Chavez has now crossed forward to Lozano, and Lozano tried to set up an opportunity, but couldn't quite do it through the Saudi Arabian defense. It'll be a throw-in to Mexico. Now I'm going to take a look at it again on my monitor, and that was so close by Orbelin Pineda. In fact, I think that was a diving header he tried to do, but that went nowhere, and it's a throw-in to Mexico to be taken by Gallardo. So Gallardo looks for the best place to throw, and he throws right away, and it was just outside the 18-yard box. Gallardo tries to cross it back in, but deflected away by Al Amari. Now Mexico back in play with the ball through Montez. Montez crossing down wing to Gallardo. And Gallardo now with the ball, and he's crossed forward into the 18-yard box, saved by Al Owais. And that Saudi Arabian goal area has seen a lot more action than the goal at the other end has. Although a Mexican player is down, he seems to have got back up, which is good. And a Mexico player has indeed been forced down. That looks like Jorge Sanchez, and a yellow card has been given to Al Sheri. Al Sheri has been booked, and that was a slap on the head, which in all honesty was not very nice, and a throw-in take, and that was a long-range shot, a long-range cross by Alvarez to whoever it was, but that was the other missed header by Orbelin Pineda. How unlucky was he not to score, and the ball has now ended up back in goal for Mohamed Al Owais. So Mohamed Al Owais gets ready to clear the ball. So Mohamed Al Owais gets ready to clear the ball out of goal. Just coming up to the 29th minute, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and you're listening to the Commentary Hub with Nicholas Jones. Don't forget, Luke Turton is bringing in additional reports for Poland against Argentina, which we will receive as and when we can. Free kick to Saudi Arabia, and it looks like it will be taken swiftly, which it is. It's Al Amari crossing forward to Al Sheri. Al Sheri tries to find Al-Hanam, but saved on that occasion by Guillermo Ochoa. And the Mexican gaffer Gerardo Martino looking on pensively. Right now, I'd say at this moment in time, Mexico have had the most possession throughout this game, although throughout the past 20 or so minutes, Saudi Arabia have started to pick things up a bit, and it will be a throw-in to Saudi Arabia. That looks like it was Al-Hanam that took the throw. Now it's been passed around, headed by what looks to be Al Amari. Mexico have taken the ball back though, and it was almost picked up. It was almost with Alexis Vega, but again defended well by Saudi Arabia. Although that looked like a nasty collision for Al Bulahi, and I think he was pushed down, and he almost collided with the advertising board. And that looked very painful. The physio is coming over to have a look at him. Saudi Arabia could well be suffering because of those apparent injuries going on. Because of those apparent injuries going on with the players. Don't forget Al Dossari was one of them, but Al Bulayi is back on his feet. But will that incident come back to haunt him? And the ball is now getting ready to be cleared away from goal by Mohamed Al-Owais. So Al-Owais gets ready to clear the ball out of goal, which he does, and he's kicked the ball forward to, I think that was Al-Sheri. But it's conceded a throw in to Saudi Arabia, and it will be Sultan Al-Hanam that will take the throw. So Al-Hanam throws, headed away by Mexico. Now it's been caught by Cano to Al-Hanam, but intercepted by Mexico, and another Mexican player has been fouled. They're being fouled every five. I feel they're being fouled every 5 or so minutes here. Are the players on the field? It looked like Orbilin Pineda that had been fouled, and indeed it was by Al Amari. I think he might have just got a slight touch of the ball, but as a result that caused him to go down. It was Montez crossing to Sanchez, but I think that's going to be a throw in to what looks to be Saudi Arabia. Not much to write home about so far throughout this game, apart from a couple of chances, mainly by Mexico. Although Saudi Arabia have had at least one. So a little after 32 and a half minutes, it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and a winner, and they're still looking to change all that. It's Montez passing up front to, I think that was Moreno. Now the ball is with I think that was Sanchez, but Sanchez was brought down, and the ball is now with Chavez. Chavez now to Pineda. It's Pineda now with the ball, but dispossessed by Cano. Now it looked like Chavez with the ball, and he's been knocked down to the ground, and that was a nasty punch from one of his teammates on, I think, the offending player who did it. That was very unnecessary. But Luis Chavez now down on the ground, and Al-Sheri, I should say, has gone into the book. So a yellow card for Saleh no, it isn't. It's actually Ali Al-Hassan. It was Al-Hassan that fouled him, and that has given a free kick to Mexico. Mexico did come close. Mexico looking to make this free kick count, and through it goes into the 18-yard box, but cleared away though by Saudi Arabia. Now it's back with Chavez for Mexico, and I think he was aiming for Henry Martin, but nothing doing on that occasion. Chavez Chavez did well to try and pass to Martin, but it has given a corner to Mexico, and this could really liven things up. And it'll be Chavez to take the corner for Mexico. He raises his hand to signal that he is ready. The referee is looking to get everybody into position to make sure that that it's all organised. And he'll check with the linesman just to make sure that that Chavez is in the right position. Chavez, or is it Vegas to kick the corner, and it goes straight over the bar through Jesus Gallardo. That corner looked very mismanaged, in my opinion, and so did the formation inside the corner. That was very messy as well. And another Saudi Arabian player being looked at. And I think that is Al-Bulayi. Al-Bulayi appears to Al-Bulayi being checked over, or is it Al-Amari? One of the two, I think. But it still does nothing. But it still does nothing to affect the score. And we've got a VAR check, a possible penalty between Poland and Argentina. Luke Turton.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ball played through to Alvarez, and then it went out to Acuna after it was saved, and then the ball came back in, and it looks like Chesney may have fouled Messi as the ball went back into the box. I mean, I think it'd be very harsh if this is given, but the referee is looking at the monitor on the far side, Nick, so we'll have to see if this comes to anything. I mean, his arm is towards the face of Messi, but personally, I think he is going for the ball, but I probably will see this as being given. The referee is still looking at the monitor, making his mind up, so we'll have to wait and see. Still looking at the monitor, so we're still indecisive on what's happening. We're seeing constant replays. Oh, and then his referee's coming back. Let's have a look, see if it's given us a penalty or not. Yep, we have a penalty, Nicholas, to Argentina.
So we're staying for now with Luke Turton regarding the penalty.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the referee to finish talking to Chesney. It's just taking a little bit of time now for everyone to clear out of the box, as you usually see with penalties. They usually take forever because they like to complain. It's going to be, I'm assuming Messi's going to take it. Yeah, Messi will take it against Chesney whenever he's ready. I have to say, if Argentina do score, it is definitely going the right way for the run of play, because they've had all the ball and all the chances. Messi steps up, and it's saved by Chesney. Chesney saved the penalty from Messi. Wow.
So
Still 0-0, Nicholas.
So penalty saved by Argentina, and Saudi Arabia now looking like they're about to set up an attack, but it looked to me as though it was all Mexico at the present moment. It's now Alvarez with the ball for Mexico, but it's been given back to Saudi Arabia. Cleared away though by Montes, and the ball hits the advertising bar with a whack, and once again Mexico still showing very good determination to hold off Saudi Arabia. We're now 38 and a half minutes in. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and Mexico do well to clear the ball away from their goal area, but it's only been a long range pass back down to the Saudi defenders. Now it's with Vega now crossing the ball forward to I think he was aiming for Pineda, but the ball was caught by Al Awais, and as things stand right now, it's still going to be a case of Poland against Argentina going through to the round of 16. Mexico still in charge of the ball. as the ball is still now with Montes. Montes to I think that was Moreno. Now the ball is back with Moreno. Moreno back to Montes. I think that was Alvarez. Alvarez he was passing it to. Alvarez now to Gallardo. And so it's Gallardo now with the ball, or is it Chavez? It's Chavez. And Chavez Chavez pushed down unnecessarily by I think that was but I think that was Al Hassan. Whilst we're away with Luke for the moment, whilst we're away with Luke, there has been a Saudi substitution. Ali Al-Bulayi was replaced by Riyad Sharahili. So Sharahili coming onto the pitch for Al-Bulayi. Free kick though to Mexico, and will this be the opening and will this be the goal that Mexico need? The answer is no. As Saudi Arabia formed a really good defensive wall. Now Mexico on the attack again. Is it through Vega this time? Almost saved by Alois, but that was a really good attempt by Mexico, and that was by Pineda again. Although I think he was impeded, and that has given a corner to Mexico. So Mexico needs to take advantage of this corner, and the ball now being kicked forward by Chavez, but deflected away by Saudi Arabia. We now have less than 5 minutes to go until the until half time, I should say. Although I think there will be at least a good few minutes put in for stoppage time, and it's now Montes with the ball for Mexico. Montes now passing it to Moreno. Moreno now passing the ball around to Alvarez. Now it goes back to Ochoa in goal. Now the ball has been passed around back to Montes. The ball is now with I think that's Alvarez. It is Alvarez. Alvarez now passing up to Sanchez by the looks of it, and Pineda has been blocked. So too was Vega, but nothing still comes of it. The Mexico supporters still finding an excuse to make a lot of noise, and one of them has made what looks to be like the head of a lion or an eagle or something. Do please let me know what it was. And the ball is now gone out for a Saudi Arabia throw. And Saudi Arabia, you have to say they have been on the back foot for the majority of the match, although they have had their chances themselves. But it looks as though the first half is going to end goalless. So throw in to be taken for Saudi Arabia, and the ball has now been headed back down to, I think that was Albrekan, but the ball has been given away to Mexico through Henry Martin. Now it'll be a free kick, so I think that was Saudi Arabia. Martin just pushed Alamari out of the way by the looks of it, so a bit rough on his part. Now play can resume. It's Saudi Arabia in possession with the ball currently, although tackled by Lozano. Lozano did well to tackle that one, but he's given the ball back to Saudi Arabia, and now the ball is with Al-Shari. Al-Shari trying to serve an opening, but it was easily picked up by Ochoa, and the ball has now gone out of play once again. And Saudi Arabia must know that they need to come up with fresh tactics in the second half. And the ball is now with Lozano. Lozano now passing the ball around to Pineda. Now back to Lozano. Now it's with Vega. Vega now with the ball. Can he find a way through? No is the answer, but it only goes back to Gallardo. And Jesus Gallardo, he goes for a long ranger, but it's been kept up by Saudi Arabia. Mexico still trying to break through. It's like they're just like somebody who's constantly knocking on the door. but Saudi Arabia just aren't answering, and Anthony Taylor has blown his whistle for something, which we will see on the monitor. And I think that was a collision with somebody further back, but an easily good punch by Alawais to keep the ball to keep the ball out of goal. 10 seconds away from the 45th minute now, and it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0. Although, we're now entering what could well be an additional period of time, and we now have 6 minutes of additional time. I thought there was going to be more, but it is what it is. And according to Luke Turton for Poland against Argentina, we have 3 minutes added on.
Yeah, there was 3 minutes at a time at the end of the first half, Nicholas. But yeah, I mean, after that penalty, it still had a couple of Argentina chances, but nothing really that's going to trouble Szczesny too much. So still Poland 0, Argentina 0.
Thank you, Luke. We'll have a report after. We'll have a report at half time on the game as a whole. But meantime, Mexico still looking to try and break through Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's defense. They're holding out really well at the moment, but surely it'll be just a question of when, not if, Mexico are going to score against them. But Montes tried to tackle the ball, but I think, but that only resulted in a Saudi player going down. That looked like it was Sailor Al-Shari. So Al-Shari down on the ground, and we're now enter the first 30 seconds of the 6 minutes of the 6 minutes that have been allocated. That have been added on, I should say. So free kick by Saudi Arabia, but deflected back to Ochoa in goal. Saudi Arabia need to make those 6 minutes count if they are to at least take something into half time. But it's Vega now with the ball for Mexico, intercepted by Saudi Arabia though, and I think that'll be a free kick, and I think there'll be a free kick or something to Saudi Arabia. Whatever it was that caused a free kick, it's been somewhat defused. Now it's with Al-Bakan. Al-Bakan loses the ball to Mexico, or does he? Yes, indeed he does. And it's now with and it was briefly with Pineda, but Pineda seems to have been caught up for something. And a handball, use of the hands by Al Hassan, but he gets away with it so far. It's now Gallardo going for a long range shot by the looks of it, but it sails over the crossbar a long way from where he needed to be, in my view. I think he just skied it too high, and we're now about 2 minutes into the first period of stoppage time, and it's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0, and it's now half time between Poland and Argentina. We'll get Luke's thoughts of that game as a whole a little later on. But the ball is still, but it's still going on between Saudi Arabia and Mexico. And Mexico look like they were going to try and make something of it. But it's now Saudi Arabia now with a chance, and the ball is now being passed. The ball is now briefly with Abdullah Hamid, but it was dispossessed by Mexico. And Saudi Arabia trying to go for another chance, I should say, but still nothing doing. Well defended by Mexico, and it'll be Sultan Ahanam to take the other throw. And now now the ball has been deflected back to Mexico, and something has happened just over the line, and I'll check that on my monitor, and it was and the ball was straight to, I think that was Al-Sheh to Al-Brikan, and but all the same, Mexico still have the ball back in play. So It's now Moreno for Mexico, and the ball has now been passed around to Montes. Montes to Pineda, and Pineda now needs, but Pineda has to pass back down to Gallardo to avert the danger. Now it's been passed around to Vega, but taken back by Saudi Arabia, and now the ball is with Albrekan. Albrekan passes to I think that was I think that was Al Sheri, and Al Sheri loses the ball to Mexico, but it's been picked up back by Saudi Arabia. It's now with Cano, and Cano now passing a ball around, and it's now gone back towards Cano. Cano, can he find a way through? The answer is no for the moment, but he's going for another try, and in fact, he's passed to Al Hanam, and Al Hanam Al Hanam crosses to I think that was Aldosari, but it just missed. But it just missed the goal, and in fact, it wasn't. It was Al Hassan, and Al Hassan knows that how close he came to opening Saudi Arabia's accounts. So he now opening Saudi Arabia's account. So we now have about 1 minute to go until half time, and the ball will be, and it'll be a free kick to Saudi Arabia as the goalkeeper Mohammed Al Owais comes out of goal to take the free kick. Saudi Arabia fans still hope and believe that their team can make it, can win this one, but easily picked up by Ochoa in goal. In fact, it is half time. It's half time at the Lusail Iconic Stadium. Not much to write home about in terms of goals, but Saudi Arabia and Mexico have had their chances. It looked like Mexico were going to be the dominant team first, but Saudi Arabia seemed to have somehow clawed their way back. So half time at the Lusail Iconic Stadium, it's Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 0. We'll check the Group C table as it stands a bit later on. But now let's have the halftime reports on Poland against Argentina from Luke Turton.
Yes, thank you, Nicholas. Argentina have had the majority of the ball in the Polish half and had a lot of chances, but I'd say tame chances. They're like really easy for Szczesny to claim or Poland to block. Obviously, that penalty that I brought to you live, that was actually a brilliant save from Szczesny because it was actually with his top hand as he was going down. So his left hand side, his right hand right at the top, just saves it at the last minute. I'm still not quite convinced with the actual incident itself, but Poland have had only 2 real forays into the Argentina half. One was a corner, which was defended quite well by the Argentinian defence, and the other one was a free kick, which was poorly taken straight into Emilio Martinez's hands. So really, all this game is lacking is that finishing touch and the final ball. But it's been a good game to watch. So yeah, I'm hoping that second half it turn some of the dominance into goals. Argentina or Poland side are going to come out and actually take the game to them a little bit, because so far it's been a little bit poor from Poland. But it's still Poland 0, Argentina 0 at half time.
Okay, thank you for now, Luke. We're now going to go through the table for Group C before we go for a break. Poland and Argentina, as it stands, will go through to the round of 16 with and Saudi Arabia and Mexico will have not done enough to make it through. So for Saudi Arabia and Mexico, a win is a must, but they have to rely on a poor showing for Argentina and Poland. Saudi Arabia, in this case, have to score by 3 goals or more to ensure that they at least qualify for Group C. We're now going to take a quick break, but join us before the start of the second half. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage of Saudi Arabia against Mexico to determine who will take the place in the round of 16 in Group C. We've also got Poland against Argentina, which is being covered by Luke Turton. Let's just hope the second half. Let's hope the second half for each game both produces goals, and for Mexico they need at least. And for Mexico, they need at least 5 or more goals. They'll need to beat. Actually, they'll need to beat Saudi Arabia by 4 or more goals in order to qualify for the round of 16, which they have done every time since 1994. So to progress even further than the round of 16 would be something of an achievement. They last did that when they hosted the World Cup in 1986. And another fact for Mexico is they've also gone to the quarterfinals twice in 1970. So it's only been during the time that Mexico have hosted the World Cup. But let's not focus on this now. Let's just try and look ahead. Let's just try and look ahead to the present. And I'm now going to fetch in Luke Turton. And in fact, there have been 2 changes for Poland and a goal, according to Luke. Tell me more.
Yes, so the ball goes out to Di Maria, and then it's gone back to the fullback, who pulls it back to Alexis McAllister, who hits a shot, and it bobbles, I think, just as it goes towards Szczesny and goes straight into the corner. So Alexis McAllister has scored for Argentina. I'm hoping this isn't going to be ruled out by VAR, but they could possibly be an offside. I'm not too sure. It's not being reviewed as I know yet, but we all know VAR, it's not that clear cut. So with the 2 changes, as I was just noting this down as the goal went in, Skoras and Kaminski came on for Poland to replace Frankowski and Swiderski. So that's a change of Poland. I'm not surprised that Poland made a change because they were absolutely hopeless in the first half. But doesn't really make much of a difference. And it is Poland 0, Argentina 1, and we're back underway.
We certainly are back underway. And we're also now back underway between Saudi Arabia and Mexico. So for Saudi Arabia and Mexico, they have to score as many as they can in order to even stand a chance of displacing Argentina and Poland from getting through into the round of 16. If the way things stand right now, Argentina will top Group C. And so Saudi Arabia now have the ball for Mexico. And one change for Mexico made before the start of the second half. Roberto Alvarado has come onto the pitch. I can't remember for who at the minute. And the ball is now with Herving Lozano now crossing to Alvarado, punched away though by Al Owais. And but Mexico still have a chance with the ball. It's now with Sanchez. Sanchez has passed to Alvarado. Now the ball is with Chavez, and Chavez going for a long ranger, but punched away too. And in fact, it was Antuna that came onto the pitch as the halftime substitute. So I do apologise for that one. But Chavez did really well to score for that, to try and score for that one. And in fact, Abdullah Madu has come onto the pitch for Saudi Arabia as the substitute. And in fact, a corner has been given to Mexico. So Mexico needs to take advantage of this corner, make it less messy this time. And Mexico take the lead. That was better organised by Mexico, and Henry Martin has taken the lead for Mexico. That was a beautifully timed kick, and it just went straight into the net. The Mexican fans really, really happy about this one, and so is Martin. And Martin was just And Martin just took advantage of the corner. Nobody knew he was there, apart from at least Al-Sheri, but Al-Sheri's foot just couldn't get to the ball in time, and Martin just tapped it in with the side of his foot, and Mexico lead Saudi Arabia by a goal 2-0. So Saudi Arabia need to get back into this one. Don't forget, Mexico need to score at least 4 or more, but Saudi Arabia are now trying to find their way. Are trying to find their way back into this, and that was a foul by Alvarez on Saleh Al-Sheri, and that will result in a free kick to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia know that their chances of making the round of 16 for the first time in some 28 years are looking just that little bit slimmer now. And it will be Aldo Sari, and it will be Salem Aldosari that will take the free kick for Saudi Arabia. He takes a few steps back, and the referee wanting to make sure that everybody is in position. He aims, he shoots, but is it going to go in? And it was almost picked up by Abdullah Madu, but Saudi Arabia still looking for a chance and almost headed in, but it goes over the crossbar, and that was almost the equaliser by Sultan Al Hanan. And this game has now, and it looks to me as though this game has now started to well and truly come alive. And Mexico have now taken the ball for a throw-in, but it's been thrown to Saudi Arabia. Now it goes back to Mexico. Now the ball has been passed down to but as it stands right now, Argentina will win Group C with Poland in second. Mexico will be on 4, but it won't be enough to displace Poland, given Poland's advantage on goal difference. Mexico need 4 or more goals, and it's with Irving Lozano. Lozano now trying to cross to, I think that was Uriel Antuna, but so far nothing happening. And the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, looking thoroughly uninterested. But this game has now started to heat up. So he might start paying attention more. We'll soon see. And it will be Al Owais to kick the ball out of goal for Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia really need to start upping their game a bit more now that Mexico have got themselves in front. But good defending on that part by Mexico, and the ball is now straight to Saudi Arabia. But a foul on, I think that was Antuna, and I think the foul might have been by Al Hamid, or was it Was it Al Tambakti? I think it was Al Tambakti that might have received the foul. We'll take another look, and it was Al Tambakti. I think the referee was writing something in the book, and he may well have got a yellow card, and I can confirm that indeed he has, and that has given a Mexico throw-in, and. Or should that be free kick? Yes, it is free kick. Mexico will take the free kick, and it looks like it'll be Chavez. And it looks like it'll be Luis Chavez to take the free kick, which he does, and straight in there, Mexico make it 2. That was well timed by Luis Chavez, and that could well put the kibosh on Saudi Arabia's hopes of qualifying at least. Mexico now now feel that they could be in with a chance. And according to Luke, I've just worked out that he's just worked out that if both games finish 3-0, then Mexico will qualify. Just taking another look at that free kick by Chavez, superb, absolutely brilliant, and he knew what he was doing. Just sent Mohamed Al-Owais the wrong way. And Mexico lead by 2-0. But this game is far from over, and Saudi Arabia know it. They now have to really up their game right now, and the ball was with Al Hanan, but I think he tried to cross to Abdul Hamid, but was blocked by Mexico, and it's Abdullah Hamid throwing the ball to I think that's the substitute Sharahili, and the ball has now been passed down to Abdullah Madu passing back to Al-Owais in goal, but Saudi Arabia still manages to hold on to the ball, almost loses it to Gallardo for Mexico. Now the ball is with I think that was Al-Brikan, but Saudi Arabia now back with the ball. That was Al-Brikan who was trying to hold on with the ball, or was it Al-Amari or to Al-Dasari? But the ball sails over the crossbar. That was a really close effort. That was a really good effort on goal, I should say, by Saudi Arabia. Only Mexico were able to block their every move. The closest that they came to reducing the deficit was by Sultan Al Hanam. And what's the latest between Poland and Argentina, Luke Turton?
Well, I mean, Argentina had a couple of moves around the box, nothing too crucial after their goal. Poland haven't really responded. They had one free kick into the box, which Kamil Glick headed over the top. But apart from that, not really a lot's happened since the goal. I believe Poland may be making another couple of changes, but I have no idea who's coming on just yet. All I saw was two players running back to the dugout. So it's still Poland 0, Argentina 1, Nicholas.
Thank you, Luke. And Mexico now looking to go for the third, and the ball is straight to Edwin Lozano, and Mexico make it 3, or have they? The ball, it doesn't count. It was offside, and it's still 2-0. So we'll now take a look to see whether it has gone offside or not. To me, it looked like he was completely within legal boundaries, and I'm not surprised if this will possibly be a VAR check, and Michael Oliver possibly signaling for a VAR check. This could well be the case, but it isn't, and play actually resumes. So Saudi Arabia now pass the ball around to Mexico, and Saudi Arabia now have possession, and as things stand, it's still Argentina and Poland that will go through to the round of 16. Mexico need 3 goals or more to ensure qualification. And the ball is now straight to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia will take the throw, and the ball is now being thrown. And in fact, we've got a couple of. And in fact, Ancuna and Di Maria off, and it's Paredes and Tagliafico on for Argentina. We'll ask Luke's thoughts on how they'll do in just a moment or two, as Mexico still maintain control of the ball, but they've conceded a free kick to they've likely conceded a free kick to Saudi Arabia, or is it still with Mexico? It's still with Mexico though, and we're now going to ask Luke what he thinks Paredes and Tagliafico will bring to the table for Argentina. But as I say that, Saudi Arabia looked like they were going to Mexico looked like they were going to go for another attack, and that was through Uriel Antuna, and Antuna gets into a bit of a nasty tangle with Abdullah Madu, and Abdullah Madu, he should be getting a yellow card for that. That was a very nasty collision with his leg, and that has given Mexico a corner. So Mexico need to make this corner count. And it'll be Chavez to take the corner. Chavez kicks the ball, but punched away out of goal by Alois, and Mexico don't take it. Mexico don't take advantage of the corner. So Luke, what do you think? But it's given another corner to Mexico just as I was about to throw to him, but it's now going to be. And another chance has been gifted to Mexico to see if they can make it 3-0. Coming up to the 59th minute, and the corner goes straight in, but it doesn't enter the net. Unlucky for Hector Moreno not to send it in, but it goes. But the ball has gone out of play, and I think that'll be. And I think that'll be for a throw. And I think that'll be for yet another corner. I cannot believe it. It's just that the ball keeps going in and out so much for corners I can barely keep up. And it'll be their third corner in about 2 minutes. And it'll be their third corner just as we approach the hour mark. And Chavez gets ready to take the corner again for Mexico. Punched away, I should say, by Alois for Saudi Arabia, and we've also got another substitution on for Poland. Szymanski on and Bielikov. So, what's the new player got to bring to the table, Luke?
Well, more or less everything, Nick, because I mean, Poland have not been great in this game. I mean, they've not really had many chances. They've not really had any control of the ball. It's all been Argentina. So the new Polish player has a lot to do. So, but I think with the Argentina changes, I think Acuna going off was smart because he got booked, and also he'd not really done a lot since the first half chances. Di Maria was off his feet by the looks of it when he was sat on the bench, so wasn't surprised that Paredes came on. Just another bit of an update. Alexis McAllister had a shot from a messy pullback that went straight into the hands of Szczesny, but it's still Poland 0, Argentina 1.
Okay, thank you, to Luke. We'll have more updates. We'll have more updates as and when we can. Meantime, a foul has been committed on Salem Aldosari, and that will likely give a free kick to them. And meantime, another Saudi substitution getting ready to be made. That looks like Abdulram Alboud, and just a quick mention of just a quick check on VAR, and whether Vega was offside. I still think he was onside, but that's not my call. And Abdulrahman Alboud has now made his way onto the pitch. It's a free kick to Saudi Arabia. They need to reduce the deficit and fast. So with around nearly 28 minutes to go, it's Al Dasari to take the free kick, but easily sent over by Saudi Arabia. So no way was that going to go in the net, and it was off. Abdullah Al-Amari. So as quickly as things hotted up, they soon died down, and that was the free kick by Luis Chavez. Ball speed around 76 kilometers an hour, and that was a rip. And that was an amazing and once again that was an amazing shot on goal by him. But Mexico still looking for that third goal, which they will need to qualify for the round of 16. It's Montes straight to Edson Alvarez. Now it's Pineda, but conceded back to Saudi Arabia. The ball is now with I think that was Mohamed Kano. Now passing to what looked to be Riyad Sharahili, but the ball has now been given back to Mexico. Ochoa now picks the ball up in goal and clears it just in time, straight towards, I think that was Sanchez, but the ball has now been cleared away out of goal by Alois to Saudi Arabia, but now it's with Edson Alvarez. Edson Alvarez now to Gallardo now passing it to Sanchez. Now Sanchez to Uriel Antuna, and Antuna Antuna sends the ball out, but it was actually effective off Saudi Arabia. So a throw in to Mexico, and the referee referee Oliver has called place for halt for something. I think it was because the throw-in wasn't taken very well, so that's what he's not been satisfied about. We've had a couple of those throughout the tournament so far, and the ball is now with Irving Lozano to Alvarez. Now it's back to I think that was Sanchez. Now the ball has been given to Saudi Arabia through Alamari, but Alabud tried to tackle it off Mexico to no avail, and the ball is now being thrown to Henry Martin, and Martin inside the 18-yard box, but fouled. And I have a feeling that wasn't a penalty, despite what people are saying. And a goal in the Poland-Argentina match, Luke Turton.
Yes, and I believe it's Julian Alvarez that has scored it. The ball came into him just inside the box. I'm going to watch the replay again now. It switched back towards halfway, then goes into, can't see it too much, but it goes straight into Alvarez, and it's basically blasted straight into the top corner. I think the ball's from DePaul into Alvarez, but yeah, it was brilliantly struck by Alvarez past Szczesny to make it 2-0 to Argentina. So Poland 0, Argentina 2.
And that means now that Argentina are well on the way to topping Group C. And the ball is now being passed around to between Saudi Arabia. Remember, Mexico need 3 or more goals to stand a chance of qualifying for the round of 16. The ball is now with Chavez, straight to Pineda. Pineda now passing to Lozano. Lozano now goes for a long ranger, but saved again by Alois. He appears to have wise to that attack now, but that was a really good effort on goal by Irving Lozano, and well saved by Alois. Although Saudi Arabia look like they're going to try and make an attempt, and that was by Albrekan, Ferras Albrekan Ferras Albrekan, but was unlucky to miss that one again, and it was the actions of Alois that's saved the goal by Lozano. It's the Saudi Arabia corner now, and Saudi Arabia have not taken advantage of that corner to put the ball in, and it was Al-Dosari with the ball, but saved by Mexico. Saudi Arabia still looking for the ball. It's Alabud now with the ball. Alaba trying to hold off Sanchez, but it's cleared. But he's pushed it out of play. And according to Luke, if Argentina score again, Poland will go to -1 and put Mexico into second place with a goal difference of 0. And but as things stand right at this present moment, it's Argentina in the hot seat, with Poland still behind in second. Mexico still in third place, so they've got to rely on that statistic of Argentina scoring again, or getting a goal themselves. Remember, a 3-0 goal either side in either match will guarantee them a round of 16 place. But Saudi Arabia are looking to rewrite that, and that was an attempt, and that looked like a setup by Saud Abdul Hamid, and but it was saved. But the oncoming effort was saved by Guillermo Ochoa. It's now Sanchez with the ball for Mexico. Now the ball's been passed back down, and in fact a foul on Orbelin Pineda has occurred, and I think that was by or was it a handball? I think it might have been a handball by Riyad Sharahili, and Mexico now making their protestations to Michael Oliver. But they need not complain about it too much, because it's given them a free kick as we enter the 69th minute. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 2, and the ball and it looks like it'll be Lozano to take the free kick, which it is, but cleared out of play by Saudi Arabia. It's now been headed back towards Mexico, and can Mexico make it 3? No, they can't. That was a really close effort. That was a really close attack. That was a really good effort on goal by, I think that was Martin. Yes, indeed, it was Henry Martin. But how unlucky was he to miss that one? He knows it as well. But he needs to pick himself up, dust himself down, and try again. Because there are 20 minutes left in this match to determine the fate of Mexico. Saudi Arabia, I think, are out of it. Whatever chances that they had in the first half, they wasted them, and now I'd say the ball is very much in Mexico's court. To see if they can make it through to the round of 16. I thought Mexico had it all to do at the start, but now the tables appear to have been turned. It's Saudi Arabia, and a chance missed by Argentina. Luke Turton.
Yeah, the ball was played through to Julian Alvarez, who just one-on-one with Chesney. He goes straight into the box and then curls it towards what should have been the near top corner, and just hits it straight into the side netting, when really, if he'd gone across goal, he probably would have scored. So, not good news for the Mexican fans. Now Argentina have started missing chances again. It's still Poland 0, Argentina 2.
Thank you, Luke. And it's a free kick to Mexico to Mexico by the looks of it, and it looks to me as though it'll be Herving Lozano, or will it be Martin, or will it be Martin to take the free kick? It looks like it might as well be Luis Chavez. Luis Chavez. That will take the free kick for Mexico. Lozano walks further down the pitch, and it will be Chavez that will take the free kick. Can he replicate what he did earlier on? The answer is no, because it was punched away by Mohamed Alouais, and the ball has now been given back to Saudi Arabia. and the ball is but it ends up being headed by Herving Lozano, and Saudi Arabia go for another chance, but caught by Ochoa and Luis Luis Chavez. He did everything right. That was a very good curling effort, but it didn't go where he needed it to be, and the ball has now been caught again by Alois. So Abdul Alois kicks the ball out of goal, and it only goes to Guillermo Ochoa, and Ochoa rolls the ball out to Edson Alvarez, and the ball has now been caught by Luis Chavez, and Chavez now was looking for, I think that was Uriel Antuna, but Saudi Arabia deflect that one out of goal, and something has happened to their goalkeeper, Mohamed Alois. And just when we thought that Saudi Arabia's concerns over injury were over, they're not. That was I'm going to try and look at what happened on my monitor, and I think it was a collision between Alois and one of his own teammates. Indeed, it was, and I think Lozano might have been involved, but Alois is able to keep going, and the ball is now being passed around to Saudi Arabia. The ball is now with Salim Al-Dosari, and Al-Dosari now passing to, I think that's Al-Sharif, but it's offside. It's offside. The flag's been raised, and whatever the offside and whatever would have happened subsequently wouldn't have counted. And I think it'll be cleared away from goal by Guillermo Ochoa, and a couple of Mexico substitutions taking a drink. No doubt, I think they'll be wanting to come on anytime soon. Headed this time, the ball by Pineda. Now the ball is found. I think Herving Lozano to Antuna. Now the ball is found. I think that's I can't see who it is. It might be it might be Chavez. It might be Chavez, but Chavez. That was a really good curling effort, only to be palmed away by Al Owais. So we've now got 15 minutes until full. So we've now got 15 minutes until full time. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 2. Mexico only need just one more goal to assure themselves of a place in the round of 16. And the ball is now with Pineda. Pineda with the ball for Mexico, although he's under pressure from Alabud. But Mexico still managed to hold on to the ball. Across down to Henry Martin. Now the ball is with Pineda. And Pineda goes for it, but misses. And what's more, he knows it. He's so frustrated. That was a really good setup, but Pineda, I think Pineda aimed a few degrees too far to his right, and as a result, the ball went past the near side of the post, I think it was, and a substitute for Mexico about to take place, and it'll be in fact two of them, and in fact it'll be Pineda and Martin just as well. Given Pineda missed that one. And on will come Raul Jimenez of Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that is his 100th appearance or cap as a Mexico player. And on comes Rodriguez, I think. Yes, it is Carlos Rodriguez, and a couple of substitutes for Argentina as well. Petzela and Lautaro on, with Fernandez and Alvarez off. Luke Turton, what is your opinion on them?
Yeah, I think there's getting fresh legs onto the field now again. Nicholas, because they didn't really have much energy at the top of the field after the second goal. And I've just been reading on my phone that currently Poland are going through on fair play points to Mexico.
Interesting thought that as it's still over there. Saudi Arabia 2-0, Argentina. No, Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 2. So Chavez now passes the ball around. Are Argentina going to look for Mexico going to look for another chance? But saved again by Mohamed Al-Owais, and that was by Edson Alvarez. But Mexico still looking for that third goal, but the ball was easily picked up in the arms of Al-Owais. Now the ball is sent out, but it can only end up at the feet of Guillermo Ochoa, and Ochoa now needs to pass it. Or at least cross it forward quickly. He does straight towards Raul Jimenez, but intercepted quite easily by Saudi Arabia. Mexico trying to take it back through Chavez, but the ball has now ended up with Sultan Al-Hanam. Al-Hanam now gives the ball away to Mexico. Mexico now take the ball back, and it's now with Edson Alvarez. Alvarez passing it to Sanchez. Now Sanchez looking for Antuna, but nothing comes of it, and it's conceded a throw in to Saudi Arabia, which they do take, and but Montes tries to take the ball back through Mexico, and it's now once again with Mexico through Carlos Rodriguez, and Mexico still managing to hold on to the ball now through Lozano, but tackled by Saudi Arabia through the captain. Salem Al-Dosari. Al-Dosari now passing up the field, I should say, to Albrekan. Albrekan tackled by, I think that was Sanchez. And total receptions between midfield and defensive lines. Lozano is currently top with 24. Saudi Arabia keep things going with the throw-in, and the ball is now with I think that's Alabud. Alabud passing to I think that was Sharahili, and Sharahili going for a long ranger, but it goes over the cross. But it goes over the crossbar. Or was that Al-Dosari? I think that was Al-Dosari. And no way was that ball going to go in. So 10 minutes to go until full time. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 2, and Mexico could be looking to change that. And the ball is now been brought down. And is there going to be a penalty to Mexico? Surely not. But it will be a yellow card to the Saudi Arabia player that fouled him. And I think that will be Abdullah Madu. And yes, indeed, it is Madu that gets the yellow card, and poor Irving Lozano. He was almost sandwiched, but it was just the aggressive actions of Madu that sent him down. So no penalty, but it will be a free kick to Mexico, and a substitute news from the Poland Argentina game, which we will get to in a moment or two, just after we see this Mexico free kick, and a lot closer to the goal than it has been before, and it looks like it, and once again it will be the free kick specialist Chavez that will take this one from Mexico, for having no goals throughout the World Cup so far, to having two at the last match. They really need to make this one count so that they can get the third goal that they need to progress to the round of 16. And it looks like it'll be Chavez that will take the free kick for Mexico. He raises his arm. He points to where he thinks he needs it to go, and And straight away it goes, but blocked by Saudi Arabia. That was a poorly done free kick by Mexico, and it's now Carlos Rodriguez. But he gives it away to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia now have the ball through Albrican. It's Albrican now with the ball, but collides with Rodriguez, and that just sends the ball towards Guillermo Ochoa. Chavez, Chavez, that was a replay of that missed time free kick from my monitor by Chavez. Headed away, ball now headed away by Alawais. But and the ball is still with Saudi Arabia. And another chance missed for Argentina, Luke Turton.
Yes, the ball was played into Lautaro Martinez by a Poland player who was trying to go back to Szczesny. Martinez runs onto the ball and then basically just slides it across the area when really you were trying to go for the far post, but it just went straight past the post and out the other side for a goal kick. So it's still Poland 0, Argentina 2.
And looking at the Group C standings, Argentina still top the group with 6. Poland or Mexico still on 4, but it's currently Poland that will be going through to the round of 16. It's now Sanchez trying to cross the ball in, but defended by Saudi Arabia, and now Mexico looking for another chance through Alvarez, trying to doing his best to try and go around Abadou, but well blocked again by Saudi Arabia. And now Mexico going for another chance, but he's offside. He's offside, is he? I think that could be to do with I think it was actually stopped because the Saudi Arabia player has gone down. That was Saud Abdul Hamid. And I think that was a tackle by Sanchez, and just clipped him on the foot, and down he went. So all in all, this could well be a free kick to it's actually going to be a long run. It's actually going to be a free kick out of goal by Saudi Arabia, and Mohammed Alawais. And Alawais gets ready to shoot the ball out of goal, which he does. Straight to, I think that was Albrican, but it's been passed down to Ochoa. Ochoa now passing the ball around to Gallardo. Jesus Gallardo. Now with the ball for Mexico. Now he's been passing it around to Cesar Montes, and Montes tries to get to it, but it goes out of play. Thrown to Mexico, which is swiftly taken. Ball now being passed down wing to Alvarez, and Alvarez now to Antuna. Antuna needs to get round the defender. Tries to cross it in, but capped out by Saudi Arabia. Now it's with Sanchez. Sanchez to I think that was Chavez, but it's been given away to Saudi Arabia. And the ball was, I think, momentarily with Abdul Al-Dasari. And a couple of Mexico substitutes are looking to come onto the pitch. I think one of them is Kevin Alvarez, and I think the other player that will be coming on will be Rogelio Funes Mori, and that confirms it. The fourth officials board confirms it, I should say, as off will come Edson Alvarez, and on will come Rogelio Funes Mori, and the ball is still with Saudi Arabia, and the ball is now being passed around to I think that was Alabud, but it's almost time for me, I think, to give my player of the match, and I think I know who it is. And Mexico have made it 3 by the looks of it, or have they? I don't think they have. It was clearly offside, and what looked to be Antuna, who had the last touch of the ball, and I'm just looking at my monitor. He was definitely ahead of the last defender, but he can't believe it. Is Is this going to go to VAR? I'll be very surprised if it does, because to me that looked like a clear-cut decision, and off comes Sultan Akhanam, I should say, and on will come Hatan Barbri, and so on comes Barbri, and the decision and the offside decision still stands. So no check, so no need for a VAR check, and it's now going to be another, what looks to be like another throw in to Saudi Arabia, and we have 6 minutes, and 6 minutes have been added on for Poland against Argentina. Luke Turton.
Yes, indeed. We've just seen the board go up for 6 minutes, so that's now an extra 6 minutes of time for Argentina to potentially add to their lead. But it's still Poland 0, Argentina 2.
Okay, just as Luke says that, we're just about that was just about another attempt on goal by Mexico, I should say, and the referee now blowing to stop play, and I think that's because of an incident involving Abdullah Madu, which I did not see, and the physio is now coming over to have a look at Madu, and that was I think that was a ball to the chest by. I think that was a ball to the chest by Rogelio Funes Mori, and that was the confirmation of the substitutes that we already know. Sanchez came off for Kevin Alvarez, and Edson Alvarez came on for Funes Mori. Just a quick VAR check, and quite clearly his whole body was offside. So no need to go. So no need to go into further detail. And poor Uriel Antuna cannot complain about this. And the physios now taking a look at what appears, and the physios now have appeared to have done the checks with Abdullah Madu, or have they? And yes, indeed, I think Madu appears to be carrying on. But the Saudi Arabia fans are now starting to leave. They think that it's game over for Saudi Arabia, and I would have to agree with them. But there is still the penultimate minute. There's still the last few seconds of normal time left, plus the extra bit of stoppage time left. And Raul Jimenez now has the ball for Mexico. We haven't seen much of him so far, but he's making up for it now with the ball. But deflected away by Saudi Arabia. And now Saudi Arabia have the ball back, and 7 minutes have been added on in the game. But in this game, so there is still quite a bit of time there's still quite a bit of time for Mexico to get a third goal. And I'm now going to mention who my player of the match is. It's without a doubt, in my view, Luis Chavez, because he's been really good at setting up a potential attacks, and also that amazing free kick he scored earlier on in the second half. And Abdullah Almari has been given a yellow card, and as a result will miss the next match should Saudi Arabia miraculously qualify. But I don't think Saudi Arabia will have anything to worry about for the next match, quite honestly, because what with around 6 minutes left, I'd say they cannot bring themselves back into this. So well done to Luis Chavez, our player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services. Now we move on to this Mexico free kick. It's a little bit further back than to what it was last time, and it'll be attempted another free kick, but the ball almost sent in, and nobody could take advantage of the rebound. So a corner now to Mexico, and it will be Chavez to take the corner for Mexico. So Chavez raises his arms to let everyone know he's ready. He kicks the ball in towards the 18-yard box, but headed away though by Cano, I think it was, of Saudi Arabia, or was it Madu? I think it might well have been Madu. So another corner to Mexico, and it's Chavez to take the corner again for Mexico. He strikes the ball into the 18-yard box, but it goes the other way, and the ball has now been picked up by Gallardo, and Gallardo now passing to what looks to be Lozano, but tackled by Saudi Arabia, and the referee is saying play on, and the ball has now been kicked out of play, and it'll be a Mexico throw. I think that I can't see who the throw is, but he's thrown to Raul Jimenez, and Jimenez has been tripped up again has been tripped by Saudi Arabia. I think that looks like it was Al Hanan, and but Saudi Arabia, but Mexico know that they have some 4 minutes until they can get that third goal in, and it looked like they almost did, but well defended by Saudi Arabia. But Mexico still wants it, and the ball goes way over the crossbar through Irving Lozano. And what a spectacular miss that was! Almost a howler, you might say. And the ball on that occasion was saved quite easily by Mohamed Al-Owais. So we've now got 2.5 minutes. So we've now got some 2.5 minutes left. It's still Saudi Arabia 0, Mexico 2, and it's now full time between Argentina. It's now full time between Argentina and Poland. Argentina are definitely going to go through to the round of 16 for sure, but Poland's fate still hangs in the balance, and the ball is now back being passed around Saudi Arabia. That looked like it was being aimed towards Saleh Al-Shairi, but Mexico now still have it through Gallardo. Gallardo concedes the ball to Saudi Arabia, and the ball is now being passed around up to Al-Brekan. Al-Brekan passing down to Al-Dosari. Now back to Al-Brekan. The ball is still with Saudi Arabia. Can they pull something back though? They can, and that has well and truly put the kibosh on Mexico's chances of reaching the round of 16. I thought that Mexico were somehow going to pull a miracle out of the bag, but that goal by Saudi Arabia and Al-Dosari has now all but likely ended Mexico's hopes and dreams of reaching the round of 16. It looks as though they are going to fall out at the group stage for the first time in a very long time, and the ball is now being caught again in the Saudi Arabia goal by Mohamed Al-Owais. But for Mexico, they did all they could. They should have scored a couple of more earlier on in the first half. I thought that the two goals in the second half were going to set up an amazing finish, but it looks as though it's all over for both of them, and we're now into the penultimate minutes. Mexico really need at least two more goals to ensure a qualifying place, but somehow I do not think that is going to happen. And the ball is now just being passed around within the next 40 or so seconds, and it will be a throw-in to Mexico to be taken by Kevin Alvarez, and Kevin Alvarez throws to Antuna, but the ball has been picked up, but the ball is now with Saudi Arabia. That was briefly with Abdullah Hamid, and now the ball is being sent forward to, I think that was Al-Brekan, but the ball has now been intercepted again by Mexico through Irving Lozano, and Lozano Lozano fouled by I think that was the substitutes Hassan Barbri, and we are now going to enter the 97th minute. We could well indeed go slightly over, Mexico will take the free kick, possibly the last one of the game. And it'll be Chavez to take the free kick, headed by Montes. And is it going to go in this time? The answer is no, and that could work. And that was almost a bundled save by a bungled save, I should say, by Alaves. That could well have given Raul Jimenez the chance to send it into the net. But as it happened, he slid down onto his backside. So it looks like it's over for both sides. Mexico can be proud of how they played today. They missed out their opportunity in the game against Poland, and that is it. Full time at the Lusail iconic stadium. It's all over for both Saudi Arabia and Mexico. Argentina and Poland will qualify for the round of 16. Final score is Saudi Arabia 1, Mexico 2, and we're now going to go over to Luke Turton for his final report on the Poland-Argentina game.
Yeah, well, thank you, Nick. The Poland-Argentina game started off with Argentina having a lot of chances on goal in the first half without really having any of the final products. Acuna had a couple of chances which were spurned across the box. Poland in the first half were pretty disappointing. They only had a corner and a free kick in the attacking half to really note. Second half started and Alexis McAllister scored within about the first 2 or 3 minutes of the half. Again, Poland didn't really respond to any of it. They were just happy to just sit in and try and get through any way they could. And then about, I think it was 10 minutes later, Julian Alvarez scored a stunning goal past Wojciech Szczesny to make it 2-0. And again, there was no real chances from Poland after that. So it was all Argentina again. They missed a couple of chances from Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez. But it finished the end of Poland 0, Argentina 2.
Thank you very much, Luke. But you have to really feel for both Saudi Arabia and Argentina, because they came into this match with the intentions that they set out to do, but in the end, it just wasn't enough for both of them.
Yeah, it's very disappointing for Saudi Arabia and Mexico. I mean, Saudi Arabia started off really well, winning against Argentina, but then couldn't really capitalize on the situation. But then the second game wasn't good enough. The third game, obviously tonight, again, they just couldn't quite do enough to edge across Mexico. And again, Mexico couldn't really capitalize on get the third goal they needed to qualify ahead of Poland.
Yes, that's right, and we've actually got Ross Vernon back for his thoughts on both games. Welcome back, Russ. What were your thoughts on? Oh dear, so oh no, sorry, don't bring me up here after you just finished. Right. Sorry. Okay, so so as we understand it, Argentina and Poland topping Group C. That means that Argentina will face Australia in the round of 16, and Poland will be at home to Group D winners France. How do you see both of these games played out?
I think the France game will be tough for Poland, but just repeat them again. I've just lost track of who we're talking about. It's France against Poland.
Yes, it is France against Poland.
Yeah, so France against Poland, that'll be tough for Poland after watching them tonight against Argentina, because they didn't really do anything in attack. So if they're just going to let Mbappe and co stroll through their defence, then they're going to be in for a long, long night. But Argentina, Australia, that'll be an interesting one as well, because Australia. We're just going through the gears a little bit in the game that we did earlier. So again, that'll be an interesting one, Argentina, Australia. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't really call it either way, but I think the France-Poland game, I can only see France winning that one.
All right, thank you very. All right, thank you, Luke. Before we go, we've got a few games coming. We've got the next round of 16 games coming up tomorrow. Starting with Canada against Morocco. Then we got Croatia. Then we got Croatia against Belgium before the big games at 7:00. Japan against Spain and Costa Rica against Germany. Presentation and commentaries yet to be finalised. We'll let you know. We will let you know as and when we can. If you want to know who will be doing what tomorrow, then do please check out our Twitter page at Commentary Live 1. And you can also check out more news, and you can also check out more news and info on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. Well, that just about wraps up our coverage of the games in Group C. But actually, before we go, Luke, just actually forgot to ask who would be your player of the match in the Argentina-Poland game.
Okay, I'll probably give it to Messi for his link-up play.
Okay. If that's what you say, then that's what you say. Well, that just about like I say, that just about wraps it up for us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, good night.